Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of The Dunker Spot. We're part of the Yahoo Sports Network. I am your host, Nekias Duncan, and joining me as always is my co-host, the always excellent Steve Jones Jr. Steve, how are you doing, sir?
Feeling good, feeling great. Happy to be here, excited to be here. Thank you, Dunkers, for once again embracing your bounce. A lot of fun hoop, Nekias, and I'm excited to talk about it with you. Let's hoop it up.
It is indeed time to hoop it up, Steve. In fact, it's time to roam the baseline. Let's talk about some teams that have impressed us through almost the opening week. We're recording on a Tuesday morning. We got the Tuesday night slate. That'll be a week, but, stick with us. You know what we mean. Opening week takeaways. Let's start with some teams that we've liked. And we kind of have to start with one of the undefeated teams left in the league so far, the San Antonio Spurs. As of recording, 4-0. Per clean of the glass, fifth in offense, third in defense, first in net rating. And if we're going to start a conversation with the San Antonio Spurs, we naturally have to kick things off with Victor Wembanyama, who, Steve, 31 points per game, converting 65% of his twos, 36% of his threes, not taking many of them. That's been an interesting subplot of a season and his preseason so far. 80 from the line. Nearly 14 rebounds per game. 2.8 assists, also lower. I have a question for you on that front. Over 6 stocks, Steve, which is, if you aren't familiar with that term in the basketball sense, it is just steals plus blocks. We say stocks on the basketball side. 1.5 steals, 4.8 blocks. You referenced him in the last episode of the pod. It's like, Victor Wembanyama, what is this? I similarly are like, what on earth is this? But within that, it has been cool, one, watching him play basketball. The highlights have been abundant. He has been utterly dominant on both ends of the floor. But like tracking how the Spurs build this thing out has been a lot of fun for me. How do they want to move Wemby around and when has been interesting. When are they sprinkling in the inverted pick and rolls for him? When are they posting him up? When they do post him up, how much off-ball movement are they going to have around him versus let him cook because he can generate a clean shot whenever he wants to? Like, that has been interesting process-wise. And to be completely honest, while I haven't loved all of the Wemby possessions, especially like the post-ups in particular, it's easy to see this is just an auto advantage because the guy is 7'5" and can shoot over the top. And even when you defend him well, he can step through you, get into an up and under, and it's just a good shot or a dunk anyway. And so as they learn more ways to really put pressure on defenses and draw more doubles for him, which quietly he has been one of the more double players in the league so far this year, the offense is probably going to get better. He certainly made life easier for the guards. The line of versatility that you could tap into with Wemby certainly makes them more dangerous to deal with. But I've just been wowed by the Wemby start and intrigued by how the Spurs are looking to deploy Wemby.
I think when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, you have to sit and understand that you are seeing something that you just have not seen before. Like, I understand it's not always perfect. Doesn't mean he's the greatest player ever. He's unlike anything we've seen before. And I think you don't want to lose that special factor. And every night that he plays the game, he gives you a sequence of, wait, what did I just witness? What do you mean you got 2 blocks at the rim and then took a 3 from right by the logo? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why is a very tall person getting a wide pin down and then doing a 360 layup just because? Like, that's not how this is supposed to work. And so on top of some of the breakdowns, you just got to have an appreciation for what he brings to the table. He's got a special talent. And I think it's one of those things where he's improved on some of the things that he struggled with as far as just the mindset, the ball handling skills, as far as being able to set dribble moves up and get defenders off balance and continue to drive. Strength's going to have to continue to come. Teams are going to have to try and figure out how they want to handle it. Do we want to big on them? Do we want to wing on them? Do we want to try and bother the handle? Do we want to double? But he's definitely set the tone and laid it down that, hey, I don't think Wemby's coming. Wemby's here. And now you have to deal with him and the Spurs in a different way. So I give him a salute there.
No, I like that. I guess the question I would toss to you, as you've mentioned some of the improvements that he's made, like something that we talked about, last episode, a little bit in preseason, just the added play strength for him has made life easier. On those post catches, you're not pushing him off of his spots. It means you're being threatened even more early, which, ask PJ Washington what that looked like. The fake spin to the rim into post catch, into into reverse dunk is just not supposed to happen. But even with that fake into let me set up shop Last year, that catch might have been pushed out to the 3-point line. And because he's Wemby and he's skilled, he may have still scored on that play. But just the margins that are improving with him, I think have certainly stood out. I want to go back to the post touches in particular with Wemby.
Okay.
As you look at again, you watch those games, just like, well, maybe I don't like him catching the ball and the action kind of stops a little bit. But then he takes a jumper and the guy contesting is just like at his belly button. And it's just like, oh, well, yeah, you can just kind of get the shot whenever you want to. It hasn't been the most efficient source of offense yet for San Antonio. And when watching some of these Wemby post-ups, it reminded me of a conversation that we've had about Joel Embiid before, where the floor is static and it kind of like on one hand, it looks very stationary, very bland, yada, yada. On the other hand, it makes it easier for Wemby to kind of map out where everyone is. Mm-hmm. So if you do get a double team, oh, well, then here's the kick. And it's just right here. And now here's a 3 from Devin Vassell, who is shooting the leather off the ball right now. Here's a 3 for Harrison Barnes, who just shot the leather off the ball last night. And so, like, how have you felt about the Wemby post touches in general to start the year?
I like that he's trying to seal people and hit first and use his height. That stood out to me. I like that he's trying to get deeper catches. I also like that it's not just San Antonio saying, oh, you have a mismatch here, go down, let's stop everything. We mix those in. But I think there's enough movement around him and a movement with him being used as far as, again, getting pin downs, getting to the elbow, and be able to mix in different catches in different places on the court, him bringing the ball up the court. So it's a different look where you kind of have to deal with him in different ways, as opposed to if we just master this, we can get him off balance. And so I honestly probably prefer him catching near the elbow. I think that gives him room to operate. And also, you got to remember, like, even if you bump him on that first drive, he does a spin, he's still in the paint. And so that's where it's like the idea of hitting first and getting that contact. Now you got footwork, and now I can finish over you as opposed to just simply relying on the fadeaway. Like, we're seeing more step throughs. We're seeing more just deceleration. We're seeing a lot of different ways that he can impact the game. And so it doesn't just have to be a pure post touch, in my opinion.
Okay, no, that makes sense. We're going to get to your thoughts on deceleration at some point. Maybe not on this episode, but in general.
It's cool.
There's been a couple for you.
It's all right.
That's
fine.
Respect Stephon Castle and his ability to decelerate while we're here on the Spurs. I guess that's a natural transition point while we're here. The guard play from the San Antonio Spurs has been quite good.
Ooh-wee.
I've enjoyed the Stephon Castle experience and his craft inside the arc, his ability to get to the free throw line, some of like the late in clock playmaking that he can tap into because you're trying to time out. Is this a pull up? Is this one of those slow Euro steps they can get to? He's very good at seeking out contact. And when you have a guy like Wemby on the floor, like anything could be a lob at the very least. So you do just kind of have that security blanket on top of that. But Stephon Castle has been very good getting downhill. Dylan Harper, oh my goodness. I know we normally do like rookie reports, so we'll have like deeper thoughts on the rookie class moving forward. But he looks like he's been in the league for 5 years already. I just love his craft, the way that he sets up ball screens, his ability to get downhill, shift gears quickly. He also has really good footwork. Like, some of the playmaking has popped for him. And so, like, question heading into the season for me with both of those guys is just, okay, where's the jumper going to be? When they are off the ball, what is this going to look like? But it just feels like they've had, between the defense, which again has been really good for San Antonio to start, and Wemby has figuratively and literally been a huge part of that. They've just had a lot of transition and early offense opportunities for them to attack, and you just kind of see what kind of craft and scoring prowess they have downhill. So that part's been fun for me. What's impressed you the most about this guard group so far, Steve?
Well, I think the ability to play off each other and their ability to, even in the same lineup, okay, I'm going to try and attack, drive, get to the paint. I can drive, kick to you. If you don't have it, you can drive, kick back to me. And being able to kind of mix in that off-ball and on-ball presence. Dylan Harper has been incredibly smooth with his ability to get downhill and explore space. And if you are a big and you're dealing with Wemby or whoever the screener is, and you think, okay, I can give a little bit of space, he's turning the corner. And he's not afraid to finish. He's not afraid to kick it out. Stephon Castle, will get downhill. So their willingness to just attack has stood out to me. And what that's opened up for the Spurs, I think that's key. Because you got the Wemby of it all. You have those two getting downhill. You can get Devin Vassell off screen. So now you kind of have a balance between guard play, and you can kind of piece things together. It's not a perfect world for the Spurs. And so we're going to see how it jumps up as more teams get tape on them. But if you're looking at, teams that are struggling to keep the ball in front, teams that are struggling to rotate after they help, those guards are exploiting those matchups. And so that's the advantage for me for San Antonio to be able to have the youth they have.
Yeah. 18 points per game for Stephon Castle so far, almost 17 for Devin Vassell, 14.5 for Dylan Harper. And Stephon Castle nearly 9 free throw attempts per game. Wemby also getting to the line a ton. Like, they just punish your tilted defense. And I guess to circle back to the latter portion of what you said there, Steve, what is the thing that you are monitoring the most with the San Antonio Spurs when teams get more film on them? Maybe not a problem area per se, but what is the thing that's like, I wonder what's going to happen with this?
What's your go-to sets? What's your go-to actions? How are you going to be able to grind through possessions when teams are physical or can't keep the ball in front or go under? And you don't necessarily create that advantage that we've seen them have in certain games. How do you navigate those moments? Can you get back on it? Is your defense going to be strong enough? What happens if you get hit on that end? So it's one thing, obviously you got Wemby, you're getting stops, you're running. What happens when a team is scoring on you pretty consistently? Is that something that's going to travel? So I think it's more so just navigating the course of the season than anything else.
Okay, I got you. Like, I think the answer to my own question, and then I have a couple things we can move. I think the answer to my own question, just what are the Spurs going to look like against pressure? Like, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Wemby has seen doubles more often. The Brooklyn Nets certainly hit them early in their game over the weekend. It took them some time.
Buddy, look, early in that game, that's a good one that you brought up. Victor Wembanyama screens, Victor Wembanyama rolls. 7 Nets defenders are right next to him. So that they figured that part out. But yeah, the teams are going to throw stuff at them.
Yeah, and so that's going to conclude the Brooklyn Nets defense conversation so far. We're keeping an eye on them for hashtag reasons. But anyway, like, I do want to see like what they did, how they continue to sort through that. The underpoint from you, Steve, was a good one. And I guess just in general, just the playmaking blend with Wemby in particular, because I think he has been rightfully shot hunty because he is just an auto mismatch. And I think we were joking about it during the preseason. It's like, hey, Wemby, you didn't have to pass this one up. He was just very intentional about, no, I'm moving the ball. I'm getting my guys involved on these inverted pick and rolls. I'm swinging it, yada, yada. So far in the regular season, it's just, I am destroying worlds, period. And so I do kind of wonder when the playmaking, I guess, mentality is going to bump up for him, because clearly he can do it. Just see, like, our defense is going to force him into that with more double teams. Are they going to look at this and say, actually, what if we just decide we're going to go 1v1 to the degree that we can with Wemby, because he is just, again, he's 7'5" and ridiculous. But okay, let's just make sure we don't give up a bunch of threes to the San Antonio Spurs, who are shooting well. Top 10 3-point shooting team so far. Like, does that become more of a we got to live with something type beat?
Well, I think he still had the mindset to make plays, make passes. I think he had the one where he looked like he's going to take a step back and kick for a 3. So, I mean, it's just going to be one of those things where he has to balance out the aggression and the success of the aggression scoring-wise with, now I read the defense, I make the plays, and guys make shots.
Here we go. There we go. Stat dump from me, and we can move to this next team with Wemby, mentioned earlier. Doubled on nearly 24% of his touches so far. That's third among high-volume players so far. Teams shoot about 45% at the rim against Wemby. That is 7th among players to defend at least 4 shots per game at the rim. He has been elite. And finally, the Spurs defense, roughly 28 points per 100 possessions better with Wemby on the court so far this year, continuing the multi-year trend of them performing as an elite unit when he's on, and a little questionable when he's off. So we will see how that goes. Second team for me, Steve, the Miami Heat are off to an interesting start.
Oh my.
2-1 as of recording, 11th in offense, first in defense per clean the glass, second in net rating. And all the rage with this Miami Heat team so far has been the offense. They are playing much faster. Possession length is cut down. Possessions per game are way up. The crossing half court faster. They're getting into their first action faster. It has been a ton of drive and kick and drive and kick and drive and also kick and post up when there's a smaller player in front of me. It has been very free flowing. I am intrigued by what the offense looks like. I've also been in a bit of a headlock for what this offense means for Bam Adebayo, as I feel like his usage within this offense has been inconsistent. It's been, hey, he is spaced, cool, and it's, oh, wait, we got to get Bam the ball. Here's 4 straight mid-post possessions, go create something. And I'm just like, I think there could be a better blend than that. But overall, they're flirting with a top 10 offense right now per cleaning the glass. They have shot the ball well from deep. And they have done, I think, with this style and shift in style, rather, they have empowered a lot of guys. And that has helped Norm Powell, that has helped Jaime Jaquez Jr., that has helped Davion Mitchell, he's just been good offensively. Hot take would be that he's been better offensively than defensively to start the year, but we can talk about that if we want to. But Steve, what have been your early impressions of this Heat team?
Well, I think when it comes to Miami, I'm very going to clearly talk to people. I understand you're going to do the stat thing and the graphs thing. This is not going to be a team that never runs pick and roll. You did this with Memphis last year. Please don't do it again. That's my PSA. Don't do it. I think for me with the Miami Heat, we've seen the concepts they want to have as far as throwing ahead and getting into a flow. And for this to work, the defense has to be at a high level as far as being able to keep the ball in front and contest. The drives have to hit. And so you mentioned Davion Mitchell. I did not really factor his drives into that being a part of it. I had Wiggins, I had Powell. His drives are pretty important, and Jaime Jaquez's drives are pretty important. Now, if you're going to say the revolutionary offense that has the lowest amount of screens in the league, you're going to watch and you're going to see clear side for Davion Mitchell, clear side for Jaime Jaquez. And so this is fantastic when you have a matchup and you can get a paint touch. I think Jaime Jaquez and Davion have been very aggressive. What's going to happen when teams are able to keep the ball in front? Because there's still some possessions where they're having to grind through and try and figure it out. So how do you navigate those? Defensively, what happens when you're taking the ball in the net? And yeah, you can throw it up and get it up quick, and I love that. How are you going to handle those moments? So they have to be able to push and flow as opposed to being in the half court. And they have to get paint touches and win matchups or force help to open things up. The good thing about this, you mentioned the Bam of it all. This is a base that's not Bam sourced. This does not need Bam to do things for it to work, as opposed to what we've seen in the past. Bam has to do a dribble handoff. Bam has to screen. Bam has to open this up. No. We're going to do this, and then we can bring you into the fold. And I think he's been aggressive and decisive, especially that Memphis game. Had to shoot corner 3 and then decided, actually, I'm just going to get a throw ahead and transition, go right at Jaren Jackson Jr., shoot a fadeaway. So I think it's the blend. I think it's overall good mindset, good pace, good space, but they've got to watch and make sure their defense holds strong and continue to push it offensively.
I got you. I'll say quick Easter egg for like the non-consistent Heat watchers. Bam Adebayo against Miles Turner. Bam Adebayo against Jaren Jackson Jr. Those are going to be the 2 games that Bam's going to have extra juice for. He's always going to bring it. But if you were looking for, hey, is Bam going to have 28 and 12 or something ridiculous? Those are going to be your opponents. That is most likely going to happen. That he gets up for those. I would just say quickly on the offense thing to somewhat jokingly do the numbers thing and the graphs thing. It is 22 pick and rolls per 100 possessions for the Heat to start the year. They were around 69 per 100 last year. It has been a big drop. And as we talked about with the drives, those have certainly been important. Isolations are way up for the Heat. Post-ups around the same if you wanted to get into some of the play type stuff. But yeah, it is going to be important to maintain those drives. Again, I've been very impressed with what Davion Mitchell has done. He's been an auto paint touch for the Heat since he joined the team last year. And for me, it was like, I know he can get to the paint. We saw this in Sacramento. We saw it in Toronto. Is he going to finish when he gets there? So far, the answer has been yes. That has to maintain. And the three-point shooting with Davion Mitchell shot well for Miami last season. It's like, okay, this also has to continue. But I do think having this kind of empowerment for Davion to get into the paint, for Jaime Jaquez Jr., who has just quietly been one of the most effective drivers in basketball within this very small sample, it's like over 1.4 points per possession on those trips, they have to consistently win. And I think it's good that they've already had some early adversity. That fourth quarter against Orlando, where they did blow that lead, it's like, okay, this is what it can look like when we can't create advantages early. We got to work a little bit harder, a little bit better to get this going. The first quarter and mostly I want to zoom out the first half of the Knicks game, especially some of the Jaime Jaquez Jr. possessions, where it is early in the clock. Let me try to attack Josh Hart. And it's like, well, I appreciate your aggressive mindset, and that needs to continue. This is not the matchup for you to poke at. Landry Shamet, Do your thing, big dog. Random Jalen Brunson, do your thing, big dog. And so, like, I do think because Miami has a bunch of, like, quote-unquote weird dudes with these kind of skill sets, it may not be your traditional superstar calls for weak defender and pick and roll, get switch, attack. But, like, Jaime can win some of these matchups. I think Davion Mitchell is just quicker than a lot of folks, and he can kind of kick off some of these chains. Norm Powell, who has shot the leather off the ball, his drives have also been very impactful. Like, he could just win matchups. And so it's kind of a non-traditional, they don't have a superstar offensive player, but we have three guys on the floor at any given time that can win a drive and create something. And I think I probably have more like playoff viability questions than I do regular season viability. But to your point, Steve, I am curious to see, like, when they do face insert elite defense here, what is this going to look like? Like, the Knicks gave you some seeds of that, even though they're still missing folks. But I'm intrigued. And I think the biggest thing for me is I toss the pass to you. The fact that all the players seem to have bought into this, like Bam has talked about how much I enjoy this. We want to keep this pace up all year, et cetera. Like, that gives me more faith that they can at least continue the attempt to maintain this style.
I agree.
There we go. There we go. Well, that concluded for me with the Miami Heat. They're intrigued. Steve, what teams have impressed you the most in this early season?
Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. And let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo, because we mentioned the Victor Wembanyama of it all. The Eastern Conference Player of the Week was Giannis Antetokounmpo, who at the start of the season is averaging 36 points a night, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 68.3% from the field. And we won't even mention that he's casually tossing in some three-pointers as well. First player in NBA history to start a season with 100-plus points, 40-plus rebounds, 15-plus assists through 3 games. He has 22 career games with 40 or more points on at least 70% shooting or better, which is the most in NBA history. Flat out, he has been ridiculous, and there's a command that he is playing with, and the biggest part for Milwaukee is that they are comfortable within what he's doing. The spacing feels good with what he's doing. He's being used in different ways. You don't know if he's going to bring the ball up the court. He might receive a screen from Miles Turner. He might be a screener. There's a random elbow flash. When he's getting downhill, especially with him and Miles Turner in pick and roll, it's like a locomotive. It's not new. But buddy, when he turns the jets on, he either turns all the way or you help, and we see the passing from Giannis Antetokounmpo this year, where he just fires that thing, sprays it out to the perimeter, and now the Bucks are playing around that. AJ Green has done a tremendous job early in the season of shooting the basketball. Miles Turner has been a really good fit with his ability to space, to pop, to be involved in pick and roll with their other guards, to cut. So that's been really fun to watch that develop. I also have enjoyed the Ryan Rollins of it all. And his ability to just get downhill, like just having another guard who can defend, mix in some makes, turn the corner. Cole Anthony, when he was healthy, was also someone who could do that. So that's an interesting blend for the Bucks as far as, okay, I think conceptually they are doing what they want to do offensively. They shot 50% or better in their first 3 games. So this is a team that gets it. They believe in it. They have success. Now, very, very interesting that Cleveland absolutely said in that second half, hey, Giannis, here's double teams. Are you near a catch? Here's another person near you. And now, does this turn into Milwaukee has to make shots? Defense has to elevate another level. But so far, they've passed all the tests for me.
I'm glad that you brought up Milwaukee and you brought up Giannis in particular, because I think it feels like it's been between him, Wemby, and Jokic. Well, it's like a 4-person battle.
I was about to say, don't forget Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, Shai's been nuts, to be clear. But, like, he just has a strong argument for I've been the best player in the league through the first week of the season. Like, Giannis has just been incredible. And you mentioned the double teams with Cleveland in particular, but this is a question that you had for Milwaukee heading into the year. I understand what they are trying to do. I understand how this can pop. What happens when teams double? Through the early goings of the season, no player in the NBA, minimum of 100 touches, has been double teamed more often than Giannis Antetokounmpo. What's been interesting to me, it's been over 1.3 points per possession on those trips, Steve, when he does see a double. Now, wasn't the same success in the Cleveland game, to your point. So that is still something worth monitoring. So that's a good call for you. But good early sign when you zoom out, Giannis is a freight train that can be moved all over the court in the half court. In transition, he's obviously a demon, and that Raptors game is still burned into my brain, where they are doing the full court pressure thing. I have more Raptors thoughts, don't you worry. But either way, it is just Giannis being picked up full court. It's like, all right, bet. Well, I'll either just beat you, or here's a screen that I may or may not use. You try to get out of the way. I can now rev up and get downhill again and again and again. So like, there just isn't much you can do with Giannis. I'm glad you brought up the others, and in conjunction with what they've been able to do. Like AJ Green screening for Giannis is always going to be a good time for me. The pick and roll between Ryan Rollins and Giannis has been good. Giannis turning the Giannis and Brook pick and rolls for the last 2 years that have been super fruitful into like, here's the Giannis Miles Turner pick and roll. That's the one that's really made me laugh. One, just on the numbers front, it's over 1.6 points per possession on those, which is absurd.
There we go.
But two, it also brought me back to last year when Giannis, especially in that playoff series, it's like, hey, there's Miles Turner. I'm putting you in action. You come deal with these drives. And Miles Turner did not have a good time. And so for them to now be a pick and roll tandem that is just tearing teams apart right now through the early going, that's a good bit for me. I've enjoyed that. I think the question I'll toss to you, Steve.
What's up?
Actually, just more broadly, how have you felt about the Bucks defense so far?
I have liked Giannis Antetokounmpo's help. I have liked Miles Turner's help. I am trying to figure out if the pick and roll defense is going to be consistent and what happens when they can't keep the ball in front and they are forced into different type of help scenarios. Because it's one thing to have a Miles Turner who's very good defensively. If I'm going to get to the level of the screen, you don't know if it's going to be a trap. You don't know if I'm going to drop back with you. I might just stick with mine. They have different screen navigators in Milwaukee. So if that becomes turn the corner, we have to help now. That's tough. It feels better than it felt last year as far as executing the vision. Activity feels better. Giannis could be in a drop. He'll do a late switch, take the roll. They just feel more solid as opposed to last year. It felt like, hey, what are we trying to accomplish here defensively? Are we overhelping? Can we not keep drives? Can we not defend pick and roll? I feel better about it. It's probably the best way I can describe it.
Okay, I think that's fair. Just looking for cleaning the glass, they're 9th in offense, they're 13th in defense. So still, and then looking at the actual number, they are just kind of flirting with top 10 in both right now, getting early season sample, all that good stuff. But figured I'd get your thoughts on that. And I was kind of chuckling internally as you mentioned like help like 3 or 4 times in your opening answer. I was like, yeah, that's kind of where I'm just like, I'm glad they have guys like Giannis and Miles Turner that can clean up stuff. And again, something that I was kind of excited about is like, I feel like they can switch a little bit 1 through 3. Because of how strong their guards are. And so you have seen seeds of that, but it has been like more Giannis needs to contest, Miles has to contest than I was anticipating early on. And that could just be, they haven't played a bunch of elite talent so far outside of Cleveland. Even Cleveland's missing folks. But like, these are all teams that at least want to try to play a little faster. So like that could also skew it a little bit. So it's something that I want to keep an eye on moving forward, but figured I'd get your thoughts on the Bucks defense. I'm also glad you brought up Ryan Rollins. Not going to hang there too long, but he's just good. He's just a good guard.
Talented player.
And like, I feel like he proved that last year. And so watching him and AJ Green in particular can, extend on what they did last year has been a lot of fun for me. Did you have any other Bucks thoughts on that we hadn't hit on, a question or anything before we move?
Nope. We can keep it pushing, guys.
Okay. Who else you got? Who else caught your eye this week?
Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets. And more importantly, let's talk about the Jamal Murray of it all. Because this guy looks like the Jamal Murray that we have seen in the past. The one who did things in the playoffs that made you go, who did he pass with this conference finals run? What statistic? What was that? Excuse me. And I think the biggest thing for me is the drives have been there, which has always been a key for me over the last few years, is Jamal Murray looking to get downhill. But now that mid-range step back, he's just kind of toying with you in different ways. And him being able to play at that level, boy, obviously that makes Denver better. But boy, non-Jokic lineups, there's just all sorts of lineup versatility they can get to. So I've just enjoyed that portion of it. I like that they're trying different things on defense. And hey, here's zone. Jokic mixing a switch. Be on the block. Like, we're going to just try and evolve this to do different things to get ourselves in a position to beat different teams. I think that's really important. But just the overall versatility that they have, I think just really has stood out to me early in this season. Being able to play around Jokic with multiple players, Jonas Valanciunas elevating people, Aaron Gordon. I don't know what's gotten into Aaron Gordon. What do you mean? Like, I joked after the Warriors game, right? You run elbow, Aaron Gordon gets a screen from Jamal Murray, and that turns into a flare. That's insane. And then he got the cut and did a 3-6. Like, why did you do that? A 360 off a lob? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
He's like that.
And so I just think they're building the foundations to have a good base and a good understanding of what they want to do, which is important in the West. And so you get that belief, you get that buy-in, you have that success. That's key. So I just wanted to quickly salute them. I don't know if you had any Nuggets thoughts, if anything's jumped off the page for you.
I think one, just bounce off what you said, just with the offense, they do have the league's best offense so far through the opening week of the season. And I think that tracks. When you have Nikola Jokic, who is just on a triple-double streak, it would appear. In addition to, Aaron Gordon's been nuts. Jamal Murray's been nuts. I think for me, defensively, you mentioned they're doing a lot of different things. Something that popped in the preseason that continues to pop so far this year. Higher pickup points defensively. We're not going to do the full court pressure thing. Again, we did that on the last episode. But they are bringing a little bit more pressure. There's more scheme versatility, a little bit more zone. I think the big thing for me, just kind of bounce off something that I said, I think, on the last episode, is just the scheme continuity with the second unit. Is just something that I enjoy, and that's something that I think they're going to be able to build on. Like, I ended up posting some of those numbers, I want to say Sunday morning, where I think at the time they were plus 28 with Jokic on, I think -1 or -2 with him off. And it's just like, that's the total plus minus, not net rating. And I'm just like, you know what? I feel like that could be better. And I think it is going to be better. Because what I'm seeing from that Murray-led second unit is, one, he's cooking, to your point. But on top of that, it could be him and JV in action together. It could be him and Peyton Watson with him doing like the push and slip thing with some early offense stuff. It could be Bruce Brown as a screener. You can invert that and use Jamal Murray as an on-ball or off-ball screener. You can just run your offense through JV if you want to. You got the Tim Hardaway Jr. package. If he's knocking down shots, great. If he's not, then we sit him down. You know, it's just like they just have more optionality with that group. And they haven't even had to really press the Aaron Gordon at small ball 5 button yet. And we know that they can, and that's been effective.
They can keep it in the back pocket. And I think, to your point, I think the lineup point is a solid one, but also I think Coach David Adelman has empowered this group to be themselves and play within what they're doing. Like, Aaron Gordon initiating is one thing. Aaron Gordon saying, actually, Nikola Jokic, we're going to pause on that rip screen, buddy. I'm going to turn the corner and try and get in the paint. That's what I'm going to try and do. And so it's weird to say that Denver feels more dynamic offensively because they've always been good offensively, but it's not necessarily an automatic of Jamal Murray and Jokic action has to trigger everything, right? You're using Aaron Gordon in different ways. You've got Cam Johnson, who eventually will get going in a different way. You've got Christian Brown. Like, there's a different feel to it. And I like that. You know, we're just playing off of each other, and we can sprinkle in these things that you know. And Jamal Murray playing well really helps with that. The defense, I will once again say, does have to perform at a high level. And that's the thing you want to track with the Denver Nuggets as this season goes on. Can they navigate different matchups and find different ways to survive, feel strong, but just move the offense? Hey, it's not going to be this that's going to hurt us. It's not Jokic automatically in pick and roll. It's not attacking this matchup. We can kind of survive this, do something else.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, Jokic to this point has defended the most pick and rolls in the league so far. Pretty solid numbers on those. You want to count that? Like, obviously, you look at the end of the Warriors game, it's just like, well, they're the Warriors, so like they deserve more credit than anything else. But it's like, okay, this is what it can look like. And you kind of zoom out. It's like, oh, well, here's the late switch from Jokic, and he contained it. Here's him at the level, and ball pressure comes on top of that. Now it's a pickup, and oh no, we got to scramble. And now it's Denver going the other way. So like they've had their moment. So tracking the consistency is going to be important. Okay. Any other Nuggets thoughts, or did you have another team that you want to shout out?
I want to ring the bell, Nekias.
Let's go.
I want to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
I want to talk about Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and the headaches that they're giving the defenses to start this regular season. They've combined for 186 points to start this season, guys.
Okay.
Most points by any starting backcourt through any team's first 3 games of a season since starters were tracked in the 70s.
Oh, that's a great pull.
Don't you like history?
Yes. Well,
oh my. All right. So, in the preseason, we talked about Philadelphia leaning more into drive and kick and trying to have a stronger base around Joel Embiid, and in the moments where Joel Embiid is not around, and we know they're going to have to manage his minutes, back-to-backs, all that. We talked a lot about what it looks like when defenses are able to keep the ball in front, and how does Philadelphia handle that, and what are the issues, and what happens when they just cook? What happens when they just cook? Think about this, right? Tyrese Maxey averaging about 12 drives per game to start the season, down from 14.2 last year. Quentin Grimes averaging about the same amount of drives last year, 10, same as last year. VJ Edgecombe, 12 drives per game. That is another person that is getting downhill and getting in the paint and causing havoc. And when you look at how Nick Nurse has kind of built this for Philadelphia, ball moves from side to side. They got a blend of movement. They're going to look to explore. So if I don't have something, I'm getting off the ball quick. Let's see if we have an advantage elsewhere. It's free-flowing, but it has a purpose, right? So any one of these guys can bring it up. Even Kelly Oubre, Grimes, bring it up. I either look to attack or I can throw ahead, cut through, hit our big, and now we can go either way. I can do a dribble handoff. I can go pick and roll. I can swing, set a pin down. They just have an ability to keep pressure on you and keep you off balance and keep movement and keep spacing. And so their bigs could be spaced in the corner. Makes sense if that's Joel Embiid, right? You're not necessarily thinking about the Jabari Walkers and the Adam Bonas of the world or even Andre Drummond, but now they crash the glass from there, or they go set a screen or they cut to the dunker spot. Random guard screens where they slip and try to attack off the dribble off that. Like, that's the fun of it for me. And so instead of solely like relying on pick and roll, we're going to create advantages somewhere else. And we're going to have a shot to play outside of the play. VJ Edgecombe, feeling comfortable. His ability to get downhill, get in that paint, finish plays, tough. Tyrese Maxey, let me tell you something. This guy, doesn't matter if it's a floater, a step back, a pull up, I'm rejecting a pick and roll, getting in the paint and finishing. He is making quicker decisions and he is understanding when to let it fly, when to put his head down, when to make the right plays. And so I don't want to hear about efficiency with Tyrese Maxey right now because this guy is getting it up. And that is a Philadelphia 76er guard classic. And this is an identity. This is an identity. And so we can do this. And then we have Joel Embiid. And then when he's not here, we can do this.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. Shout out to the currently undefeated Philadelphia 76ers, by the way. Third in offense as of recording. And I just think, to your point, Steve, about anyone can bring this up, anyone can trigger off the offense for them, and they just flow side to side. It's one of those, like, you watch them, it just feels like they play so fast, and then you actually look at some of the data, they're like bottom 3 in terms of like seconds per possession and stuff, but it kind of speaks to your point. We can just go side to side. You have to keep defending us. Like, it's kind of like the dude across league reference. They don't play exactly the same, but like, it's kind of the mirage of the Minnesota Lynx. It feels like they play so fast, and you look at their pace numbers, like, oh, they're actually towards the bottom of the league in pace. But because they play so quickly in the half court, and because they put some more strain on you as the possession goes on, like, you're just never comfortable. And when you have a backcourt like Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, that we can just win our matchups whenever we want to. Like, I have seen so many Tyrese Maxey drive right, pull up right so far this season. It's just like, we're so worried about him getting to the rim, or we're so worried about him stepping back and taking these threes that he's been cashing in. Now he's just operating in the middle of the floor too. It's like, well, what do we do with a Tyrese Maxey that is legitimately a 3-level scorer? In addition to some of the playmaking growth that, again, was popping a little bit last year during all of the injuries that they had to deal with. But like, now it is just, I tweeted this, like, I've enjoyed how in command Tyrese Maxey feels. Like, he's had a quote unquote poor shooting performance so far in one of the games this year, but even then it's just like, he gets to his spots. He knows what the defense is trying to do. Sometimes he can just drive so fast that they can't even set up what they want to do defensively. But he just, okay, cool, it's floater time now. Now it's lob or late lay down pass to a big time now. I can get to the middle of the floor because y'all are dropping back and you're on your heels. I don't need it this possession. Quick hit ahead to Kelly Oubre. Quick hit ahead to VJ Edgecombe. And like, him having that kind of control, especially when Embiid isn't available on the bench, like, it continues on with what do the Sixers look like without Joel Embiid. And I think Joel had post-game comments not too long ago. It's been 12 years. It's about time that we look good without me on the floor. But that's huge for this Sixers group. Obviously, you want him to be as healthy as possible. But the fact that you are establishing this kind of foundation, have this kind of buy-in, and you have this kind of effectiveness early on, it should feel better moving forward. And once you factor Joel Embiid into this more consistently, at least you hope so, okay, some of those late in clock possessions for Philly, it doesn't have to be a VJ drive, though again, he's done a good job, gotten to the line a good bit as well. Now this is just Joel Embiid in the middle of the floor. Oh no. Jumper, free throws, whatever you want. So I've enjoyed this Philly offense. The Philly defense, we will just charitably say work in progress right now.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
But
Does not match the vibes of the segment.
But shout out to the Sixers. But with that, we have roamed the baseline. We're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to hit the block, Steve. We're going to post up. We're going to talk about some teams that are making us think a little bit. And we are back. It is time to post up, Steve. Who are some teams that are making you think? Some teams that are making you go, I like this, but, or I'm concerned, but.
The New York Knicks. I start with the New York Knicks, and I have been a huge fan of what Coach Mike Brown has tried to do offensively with their movement and their tempo and empowering players and trying to get Jalen Brunson off ball. And I am trying to figure out, okay, this is going to be a work in progress, which is what it's supposed to be. Can they maintain their tempo in the half court? How do they handle when teams are playing physical against them and take away their movement and take away, dribble handoffs and deny, and they work in unders and they switch. It's a good thing to have Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby looking to turn the corner. What if there is just another player there and everyone else is at home? How many of those plays are you going to make? How do you balance your tempo? And tempo is a key word for me, right? Everyone loves pace. Tempo for me is just how quickly are you operating in the half court? Are you taking quick shots or are you executing something early in the clock? And in that Miami game, I started to feel like, this just kind of feels like quick shot zone. And like, spacing's fine. It's good. Do we know what we want to get to when we need a bucket? Do we know who we want to get to in the non-Brunson division? The positive of not putting in a bunch of sets is you can establish the base and flow. Flip side is, we haven't put a ton in for Karl-Anthony Towns yet. And the other portion that we very quickly find out, the defense cannot be this for the New York Knicks. They can't be a team that gives up transition points and lets teams go to the free throw line and struggles with dribble penetration and overhelps and is bad at rotating. They can't be that defensively. So that they got some things to clean up. Encouraged by the start, but I think we have a few more answers.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Like the Knicks, 2-1 right now, Perkling in the glass, 23rd in offense, which I'm sure that is not where they want to be. 5th in defense, which, to Steve's point, it certainly hasn't felt that way for large stretches of the year, and I wonder how much of that is just we are building chemistry as a group, and also, Josh Hart was out early, we haven't had Mitchell Robinson yet, et cetera. So, I think there's just some very low-hanging fruit for them to grab, and so some of the process stuff hasn't been great. Results have them here. Teams aren't making shots against them, et cetera. I think the funny thing for me to track so far with the Knicks, because I shared your enthusiasm about their offense and some of the tweets they're going to make. Like, cool, we're going to get Jalen Brunson off the ball. We're going to get some off-ball usage for Jalen Brunson. We're going to have Cat at the elbows, et cetera. We haven't really gotten the Cat elbow touches, at least not in high degree, like one that's burned in my brain early in the game against Miami, where it's Cat at the left wing. They toss it to him. He does the quick pivot. That could be an offensive foul, but I think he timed it just right. Quick bump, hits a cutter, there's a finish. It's like, okay, you can't just do some of that. You could do more of that. And Mike Brown, you have had bigs that can do that. So I know you're not unaware that Cat can do this. So just wait to see what the blend is going to be on that front. Steve, I have a stat/trivia portion bit for you.
What do we got?
How many off-ball screens do you think Jalen Brunson has logged through the first 3 games of the season?
6, 7.
Now Max is actually 7. That's deeply unfortunate. That's no way did you get a win on that. That's not of Christ. Okay, anyway. But yes, 7 off-ball screens logged for Jalen Brunson so far, about 3 per 100 possessions. That was at nearly 17 per 100 last year. I think that is going to perk up, especially as they get healthier. But that part's been weird. About 87 touches per game for Jalen Brunson last year. It's at 99, towards the top of the league so far this year. But again, early sample size. It is still worth noting. Touch time is down. Dribbles per touch are down. So, I'm just trying to figure out how much of this is chemistry building / some of the opponents they faced / we're still trying to get guys back. Do you unlock more of the Jalen Brunson off-ball screen portion when Mitchell Robinson is back, for example? Yeah. Are those pin downs just more effective? So I'm not concerned, but it's just this is interesting. The defense thing, it's kind of like seeds of last year, where it's just this should feel better, but then it doesn't look that way. And then you look at the numbers, and again, it's like, okay, they're 5th in defense per clean the glass. It's like, well, it certainly hasn't felt like this. So like, maybe I shouldn't be as concerned, but like, I do want some early clock tidiness from them, so they don't have to rotate the way they had to. Like the second half of the Miami game in particular was like, hey, this is a lot. I'm gonna need for y'all to relax. And even then, like some of the offense has kind of bled into the transition defense in particular. So it's just like, okay, once this cleans up, I think they're gonna be fine. I don't have serious Knicks concerns right now, but I like the Knicks shout. Who else you got, Steve?
Very quickly on the Orlando Magic, because I may circle back to them next week, but what's going on? Identity crisis feels a little too strong, but who are we right now? Orlando? Movement, fun, Desmond Bain, great, Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner know they can cook. Defense is not cooperating. We don't care. Under, switch, help on drives, make shots. You're not.
You're not.
So we have this Magic hybrid group that is playing a little too fast with quick shots, and when they want to go in the half courts, a little too slow. Takes a long time to get in their set. They fight the shot clock. They take quick shots. People go on the internet and yell at Paolo Banchero, and then we call it a day. The positives are Paolo, Franz, Bain all averaging 10 or more drives per game. Paolo's averaging 22, Franz averaging 22, Bain averaging 19. This should be good. Paolo's averaging 2 assists a game. Franz is averaging 3 assists a game. Bain's averaging 3 assists a game. Even worse,
can't be that.
The team is averaging 18.7 assists. So what are we creating? They're shooting 28% from 3, Nekias. They give up 111 to the Hawks and 110 to the Bulls and 136 to the Sixers. And this is the defensive team.
What? Yeah, the Orlando Magic, to try to ground the conversation. Steve mentioned the 3-point number, so I won't hang there. They're 25th in overall offense right now, Steve. Not going to get it done. They are once again in the bottom 10 in half-court offense. They are, if I can read, they are 27th in half-court offense. The New York Knicks are 29th, by the way. Should have mentioned that during the they'll figure it out, but also. Mm-hmm. I'm just in a really weird place. Like, I think, one, the defense just has to be better. And I think as you get a more comfortable Jalen Suggs and just more minutes from him, et cetera, like, I think some of that will just solve itself. And I think some of the antsiness from what they've had to do in transition, like, on one hand, they're such a big team across the board, it should just be easy for them to just pick up a guy and sort it out. But it has been kind of weird on that front. And frankly, if you zoom out, like, transition defense across the league through the first week has just been bad collectively. So, like, I'm not trying to sweat it too much.
Can I raise my hand?
Because it seems like everyone's trying to get their sea legs. Go ahead.
It's always bad at the start of the season.
This is true. So that's what like I'm trying not to sweat it too much, but like that obviously has to improve. Jalen Suggs also, he's just been very jumpy so far defensively. Like, you see there's that all-world defender, and then it's also like, why'd you gamble for that? Because like everybody else is not trying to scramble for you, and like they're the worst defenders trying to scramble for you, and it's just a whole weird thing. So like I expect that to get better. The offense is where I'm just like, hey man, Paolo just has not finished to the same degree that he normally is. I think that's going to perk up, but like that has been a problem so far. Franz Wagner seems more comfortable taking threes, but still not making them at a high clip yet. Like that has to change, especially if you're talking about the ceiling for the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bain hasn't hit threes yet either. And so as you mentioned, the 3-point shooting stat, like I think some of that is solved by we make some of the open shots that we are creating. The half-court tempo absolutely has to get better, but like I have still liked the seeds of what they're trying to do. Like the tempo isn't great, but the ways that they are screening for Paolo, screening for Franz, some of the off-ball stuff from Anthony Black has been fun. Like, they're still doing good stuff. They just need to do it quicker and, like, get the payoff on some of their possessions. And I think that will naturally help. That fewer transition possessions, they set their defense, they still have this collective size. Like, I think they're going to be okay. But it has indeed been a weird start for them. Who else you got on the ledger, Steve?
Houston Rockets, I would just like you to figure out your lineup and tell me exactly what you want to execute this lineup and get to your best lineup and play that best lineup. And that may be a single big and Tari Easton, it may be double bigs at times. But let's get that in order so I can properly analyze your team. We'll leave it there. Do you have any Rockets thoughts?
I think it'll be easier to figure out the big room if like I need Tari Easton to play basketball. It's kind of my general thought through the opening week. It's just been very helter-skelter for him. Like, and I am a huge fan of Tari Eason. As if you've been a long-time listener to Dunker Spot, you know. But it's been a weird start to him. So I think some of the double big of it all has been, we got to win the possession battle some way. We got to establish the defense some kind of way, especially with Fred being out, etc. The other part of this is Jabari hasn't had the fun on defense that I anticipated he would. Tari Eason's kind of been all over the place. And so it's just like, even when we want to downsize, we don't know exactly what we're getting from the wings, from the fours that we kind of banked in to be good on both ends. At least not yet.
I think there's a world where you got to live with it. Let's see. Let's take let's see what it looks like. Let's understand what we have to do better with those lineups. And like, you know what I mean? I like Josh Okogie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can help them. I think Tari Eason's going to be more important than Josh at some point this season. I think that's fair to say. It's not disrespectful.
Yeah.
I like the double big lineup. I don't think that should be like your base to a degree. Mm-hmm. I think that should be something you can get to, sprinkle in, hurt teams with a random start. I just want to know what's the package I'm looking at. Obviously, I think Ime likes what Reed Chipper can bring to the table. Doesn't want to throw all of that on him to start the season. Get that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're good there. But let's see if we can get things moving in a direction.
Understood. Any other teams you want to shout out, Steve?
So Detroit, defense can't be this. The defense cannot be this. And I am very curious to see if they can tap back into last year's formula. Teams are telling Cade Cunningham, it's so cool that you got better. Here's trap, here's under, here's help. How are you navigating that portion? And then Asar Thompson has played well, I think, offensively. I think he's been more involved offensively. How is that shifting the Pistons' offense? And so last year they had that blend of playmaking and athleticism, and we have a big on the court, we have shooting, we have spacing, and it kind of feels like they're kind of having to lean into more of this lineup has more athleticism. This lineup has more defense. So they kind of have to get that balance back in order to be the Pistons. And this is the tricky part, right? So I yelled at Orlando, for the purpose of the show. But this Eastern Conference, there's opportunity abound. And so even looking at Orlando, and I didn't even go back to them, but their next 4 games at Detroit, at Charlotte, at Washington, at Atlanta, you probably are looking at 3 teams that think they're better than you, and the other one is going to shoot like they think they're better than you. So, like, you kind of like the start of the season is so important, especially out east, because the hierarchy, we believe what it is, Cleveland, New York, but you get off to a hot start, you put yourself in seeding position, you get some early success, you get more buy-in, you go off to the races. A lot of things can happen there. And so you don't want to fall in the back early, and now you're fighting to climb your way back up.
No, I think that's fair. I think with Detroit, like, the offense has bothered me more than the defense. I will say quickly to your defense point, Steve, like, they've graded out well. They're 10th per clean the glass. The half-court defense has been good. No team has allowed a larger share of transition possessions than the Detroit Pistons to start the season. And so I think that's really where you are feeling it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what you see my eyes tell me when I watch them play the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Oh, yeah.
They need to clean the glass in the bathroom after what I saw.
It certainly cannot be that. Very bad. But no, I just want to sprinkle that in. I think the K of it all has been interesting. Because it's not like he doesn't know how to read, like, 2 on the ball or different coverages. I do think, like, the mix of when they're being sprinkled in has been odd. And I don't think Detroit has gotten the same shooting in terms of effectiveness or volume, for that matter, that they had last year to kind of counter some of the aggressive, like, paint sinks and stuff like that Cade has seen so far. And you factor that in with Asar Thompson, who I think has just been good this year, to be clear. But, like, he's getting more of the on-ball stuff. Like, it does feel like the half-court offense just feels a little rickety for Detroit right now. It's something that I guess I'm just going to be the super optimist on the spot today. But, like, it's something that I expect to get better. I think it's going to be fine in the long run. But early season kinks is where I'm just like, okay, Cade's not comfortable. It's more Asar, and teams, even when him being successful, teams are just treating him a certain way. And, like, the third guy is, sometimes it's Tobias, sometimes it's Duncan Robinson handling. It just feels weird right now. And so I think it's going to be fine. But to your point, it has just been like, hey, we got to cut this out.
No.
That is, again, bleeding into the transition stuff.
This doesn't mean they're bad and their season's over. It just means it can't be this if you want to hit your ceiling. What's understood doesn't need to be spoken, right? We got an agreement here?
We should.
Okay.
If you're listening to the Dunker Spot, I would imagine you know how these things work. You know. There we go. I'd say quickly on my end, the Toronto Raptors, I need you to decide who you want to be. I entered this season intrigued and somewhat excited about what this group could be. I think we both had like lineup balance questions. Will the offense heavy units have enough defense? Will the defensive slanted units have enough offense, etc.? But like y'all have good players. I personally like the coach. This could be a very pesky team. And then they have that win against Atlanta where they're turned the ball over all over the place. Toronto's just blitzing them with hitter heads and transition baskets, and Scotty Barnes playing aggressive. It's like, okay. Defense probably still isn't where you want it to be, but like you see the seeds of it. That's dope. And since then, it's just been poo. And I don't really like that part. So I just need for the Raptors.
Not winning.
Not winning either. It's just kind of tough for Toronto. I literally tweeted during the Spurs game, Toronto is making me sad. And like I want to get like analysis tweets out there, but I'm just watching these full court pressured possessions, and it is, in the Atlanta game is, hey, we're going to hit someone. Trae Young just cuts off. He just gets downhill. It's like, oh, well, that's an interesting counter. We'll keep an eye on it. But just in general, like it's Scotty pressing Giannis in the Bucks game, and here's screen, here's drive. Oh no. You get to the Spurs game, it's a bunch of turnovers, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just like, this ain't great. Like they're getting beat early in defensive possessions because of how high they're extending their pressure and they're not containing it. They haven't been a good rotation team at all. And then you just factor in when you actually do get into the half court for them, Emmanuel Quickly. I have not enjoyed him at the point of attack this year. That's making me sad. Jakob Poeltl, who I think left the Spurs game because of his back, he just has not moved well. So like the top of your defense has been great. The back line of your defense is literally playing hurt. And that just leaves Brandon Ingram, who hasn't been the most consistent defender in his career, RJ Barrett, who hasn't been the most consistent defender in his career, Scotty Barnes, who I'm high on, and I think he has like overall been pretty solid, but like it hasn't been all defense level quite yet for him. It's just a bunch of scrambling for the Toronto Raptors, and I don't like that. And so I don't want to press the big red button, but like I do need for them to look themselves in the mirror. They got to tidy up the rotations. If they're going to continue to do the full court pressure bit, like they certainly have to tidy up the rotations because like they're not going to contain 100% of those. And I would say quickly before I toss it to you, Steve, because I know you have some quick Raptor thoughts. So on the possessions that the Raptors picked someone up in the backcourt last year, offense has generated about 0.96 points per possession. That was 13th in the league. That's fine. So far this year, it is at 1.22 points per possession. The Phoenix Suns were last year at 1.06. They are drastically worse than what was the worst offense at this last year, or worst defense at this last year. It cannot be that, to echo your sentiments. It can't be that if you want to establish a foundation.
Oh, you feeding the streets of Canada with this one. Oh, it's gonna go crazy.
It just can't be that.
It's gonna go crazy. Here's my thing with Toronto, right? I just think they need to tone it down defensively with the activity. Because you're in rotation and it's not always because of what teams have done. You put yourself in it. I think it was early against the Spurs. Wemby brings it up. Scotty Barnes runs at him. And then they kick it. And then Scotty Barnes like kind of closes back out. And then it's an easy drive. And it's like,
yeah,
you guys don't have the nuance to do some of this over helping. So teams are just making easy reads. You're in rotation. You're against Dallas, Cooper Flag and Anthony Davis running empty side pick and roll. They haven't been able to do that for the majority of the season because they know where the plays are. And so you have to have a better base behind it. You want to be at the level and pick and roll, that's fine. Be in early, know when you got to get out. But this is the danger for all teams when you just tap the we're going to be active defensive button. We've seen it every year. We want to do this. And teams are like, cool, we know where the plays are. And it's like, oh no. So you just have to make this not a rotating wheel of issues defensively here to Toronto. You got to be able to keep the ball in front. You got to be able to help each other. You got to be able to recover. How many times do we see them recover from what they tried to do during this stretch? Hasn't been often. Doesn't mean they can't do it.
It's not enough.
Doesn't mean... I don't know if you can do that during this segment.
They earned this.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, man. But yeah, that got me. shout out to the Brandon Ingram biddy. Shout out to Scotty getting downhill offensively. There are some good things happening, but the defense got to clean up. Last thing for me, Steve.
Okay.
You're 2-1 Utah Jazz. 4th in offense, 8th in defense, 4th in net rating. So you remember last year, annoyingly, when I would just be like in watch parties on the pod, like, hey, the Utah Jazz switching a bunch. They don't really have the personnel for it, but it's interesting. Not doing that. The bit this year is that we are putting 2 on the ball all the time because we got Laurie at the 3, and it don't matter because we got size on the back line. The Utah Jazz blitzing nearly 29% of the pick and rolls that they've seen so far this year. That is easily number 1 in the league. Brooklyn led the league last year, nearly a 14% blitz rate. So nearly double what the highest rate was last year. They have been flying around defensively. The guards are bringing the pressure. All the collective size 3 through 5 has been fun to track. And then you get to the offensive end, Steve. Here's Walker Kessler. Spaced on the wing. He's going to do the handoff stuff. He's going to set off ball screens. Oh, yeah, I'm 3 or 4 from 3 to start the year. Not high volume, but it's like, whoa, he's taking these. That sure is interesting in addition to some of the passing that you already do. Lauri Markkanen, you don't know where he's going to be. He might start in the corner. He might start in the wing. He may start in the middle of the floor. You don't know. He's flying around. He's taking a ton of threes. The handle looks a little bit better, Steve. He's playing through contact. He's getting to the line. Do you know how many free throws that man took last night against Phoenix in overtime? 17. Some of that was just late game foul and stuff, but like a Lauri Markkanen that can kind of get downhill a little bit in addition to the shooting is a Lauri Markkanen that intrigues me greatly. Keontae George looks better. He looks stronger. He looks more decisive getting downhill. He's getting to the line too, Steve. He's converting 65% of his twos. I like a Keontae George that is decisive and can get downhill. I don't know how sustainable this is. And so my biggest thing with Utah is just like, I assume this is just going to be early hot start. It cools off, and then we get into who are they drafting, right? But I am curious to see like how sustainable the style is. Like, do they actually want to keep up like the high blitzing style all year, regardless of how successful it is? Is this what they want to be as a base? Because that is a drastic shift from last year. That is intriguing. And offensively, it's just how well are these guards going to hold up? You know what I mean? Like, is this now Keontae George? I don't know if he's 20 and 10, but like just in general, is this just confident Keontae George now? To answer our question from the season preview, like which one of these young guards are going to pop? Is the answer Keontae George? Because I think that bodes well for Utah moving forward if he is just solid now. So just intrigued with the Utah Jazz. I wanted to sprinkle in some love. They've been fun to watch.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the Nekias Duncan Young Team Special. He is in on the Jazz right now. Has never been in on the Jazz until they got rid of all the veterans. So this is a well done thing by you. If you can't see me visually, I am currently typing into my calendar. Check in on the Utah Jazz. We'll schedule that for next month. We'll see how you feel about it. Couple different things here. Respect to the Jazz. Respect to Will Hardy. In my lifetime, I believe the Jazz have only had a losing record at home 3 times since I've been on this earth. And that brings me to my larger Utah Jazz point, because I knew you're going to bring that energy, that enthusiasm. The Utah Jazz have won 2 games at home. They gave up 134 points to the Phoenix Suns, so we'll bookmark that to your defense point. They play Portland at home on Wednesday. And so what I'm going to do is check the date. We're going to talk about this, about November 8th, because the Jazz go to Phoenix, to Charlotte, to Boston, to Detroit, to Minnesota. So we will see if they travel with those instruments.
That's such a good shot. Ooh, Utah coming to Charlotte, huh? Oh, I might have some questions for Will Hardy. I might need to send some emails. Okay, we're going to take another break, and when we return, we're going to get to the elbow, Steve. We're going to shout out some players that have intrigued us so far. All right, we are back, Steve. It's time to flow through the elbow. Let's talk about some players, let's shout out some players that have intrigued us. I'll kick things off. I would like to start the bidding with LaMelo Ball, who won on a basic level 28 points per game, 56% on twos, 42% on threes on incredibly high volume, 80 from the line, 8 boards, nearly 10 assists, 2 steals per game. So LaMelo is once again filling the box score, or still in the box, the stat sheet, excuse me. Naturally, there's been a lot of conversation about LaMelo Ball this year, because on one hand, he's tossing lobs and he's making a lot of threes, and it's been cool. And on the other hand, you get the end of the Philadelphia game, which conveniently ignores the rest of that game. But, we're late in the pod, so I can't do the whole thing right now. But we get to, the step back 3 that he takes with time on the shot clock and stuff. And it's like, hey, dog, why you do that? Same old LaMelo, whatever. I'm just like, I don't think that's completely fair. I will say, as someone has watched all of the Charlotte games this year, like, have I loved the LaMelo process for most of the year? Like, it's a slightly higher approval rating for me than usual, but like, he is still leaving stuff on the table. I do think it is fair to say that without getting into, well, LaMelo's a losing player. That's it. He's never going to be anything different. Like, no, there are different things happening here. Like, we are seeing a little bit more intentionality with how Charlotte wants to get LaMelo downhill. I think the rim rate needs to be higher for him. It is under 20 right now per clean the glass. But all of these inverted pick and rolls, like them using these guards to screen for him, and the way they're clearing space for him to get downhill, like it popped in the Washington game, it popped in the Brooklyn game. It's like, you know what? There are avenues for him to improve this. And if he does improve this with what he is already doing, there's another level for him to hit. So it's more so like let's just note what he's doing well. Let's responsibly talk about where he can have some growth areas without putting a stamp either way. Like, I don't think everyone that criticizes LaMelo is a Charlotte hater. And I don't think that LaMelo is playing perfect basketball right now. And that is okay. Because the fact that it is 28, 8, and 10 with room for improvement should excite everybody.
I like it. I like it. I will say, to the LaMelo of it all and to the Charles Lee of it all, 50% on catch and shoot threes based on the NBA's tracking data, which is a good sign. 3 makes a night, so that's positive for his growth. I'm going to surprise you, Nekias, by completely altering this segment and going back and forth with our players. Because as you mentioned, players who need respect. I need all the world to go ahead and respect James Harden. This guy is cooking and has cooked for the majority, if not all, of his career. Looked good out there. 21, 10, 5, 52 from the field, 39 from 3, 90 from the line. It's light. High pick and roll with the Zubac. Hey, cool drop. Behind the back pocket pass. Nothing. Paint touches that felt strong. A couple nights where it looks like, actually, legs feeling good. I don't need a screen. Let's try and get into the paint. HB dive, come with me. Step back 3. What's good? But just respect James Harden. That's all.
No, I like the James Harden shout. As you mentioned, the just him feeling good, getting downhill. 77% of his twos converted so far this year, Steve.
Yeah.
Also, has been the best high volume driver in basketball so far. Almost 1.5 points per possession on any trip featuring a James Harden drive. So hey, listen, I respect the shout. We burned the Utah film. Tyler Lue said, hey, we ain't even watching that. That's cool. Hey, listen, shout out James Harden. I like that one, Steve. I think as I get to my second player, we talked about LaMelo. Pascal Siakam, I see you. Because the Indiana Pacers, I don't know what they did. I enjoyed their playoff run last year. I thought they were just a good team. Turned the calendar. They were an elite team. They moved the ball. They play high pressure defense. Like, the fan base is great. And it was getting to this year that you do not have a guard. You're not allowed to have a guard. You excited about Andrew Nembhard? Shoulder. You like Benedict Mathurin? Foot. Hey, who's Taylor Peter? He's kind of doing some stuff. He's pushing the pace. This is interesting. He out too. And I was like, what did they do to deserve this? And you know who's been steadfast in production? It's been Pascal Siakam. Mid-post, I can boogie. I can get downhill. I can get to the free throw line. I don't want to talk about what's happening to Pascal Siakam at the free throw line right now. This is a positive segment. But he's doing that. He's sprinkling in not just threes, Steve, but pull-up threes. He's just doing a little bit of everything. I've enjoyed, sans the free throws, the Pascal Siakam experience, and I think he deserves a lot of respect. He just needs more respect, period. But he's playing his tail off right now for a Pacers group that just cannot stay healthy, and they're also making moves around the center position because we don't know who their center is. He's doing the thing. I just wanted to make sure I said Pascal's name on this podcast.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and mention the name of one of the best players that we've seen in the regular season so far. Austin Reeves, come on down.
Yes.
Now,
yes,
he's been playing with a lot of juice. And obviously the scoring numbers speak for themselves when you're putting up 50 and 40 casually. We love to see that, right? Putting on a show. Everybody's happy. 17 drives per game. Sorry. 17.
What Is that the defense when Austin Reeves is getting downhill?
Yeah, 17.
Is that DeMar DeRozan's reaction after yet another foul has been called?
No, we're gonna get to that. 17 drives per game for Austin Reeves. That's 6th in the NBA right now. Now let's get to the DeMar DeRozan of it all, because through 4 games, Austin Reeves has shot 51 free throws. And DeMar, please forgive me, but I have to bring this up because I saw it this morning and I can't unsee it. The Sacramento Kings as a team through 3 games have attempted 56 free throws.
Oh, no.
It doesn't get better. Hold on.
Oh, no.
The Sacramento Kings have made 36 free throws. Austin Reeves has made 45.
Oh. Shout out Austin Reeves. And shout out the basketball teams that, you know what? Never mind. Not going to do that. That's not what this segment is for. Shout out to Austin Reeves. Over 1.3 points per possession on trips featuring a Reeves drive. One of the best marks in the league. So I wanted to give a salute to him. Okay. Keyshawn George of the Washington Wizards. 29-4, nearly 3 stocks per game. 61% on twos. We'll see how sustainable that is. But I have loved the cadence of his drives. It's not always a blow by. He gets a switch, he can. If it's not, you are coming with me because I am strong and I also bring the ball high on my layup attempt, so you might foul me if you try to contest. It's been very cool for Keyshawn George. The passes on film have been fun as well. He is emerging among this Washington young core, and I just think he's not going to continue to shoot 53% from 3 this year. But the fact that he can shoot, he certainly tries his tail off defensively. He brings some real energy and real attitude on that end. On top of what he's doing offensively, it's just been a really fun start for him. So I wanted to make sure I said his name on the pod.
I respect it. You know who I want to shout out, Nekias?
Who you got, Steve?
Nikola Vucevic, man. I'm talking about
the Chicago Bulls that just keep winning.
The Chicago Bulls that are rolling and running right now. And you want a double-double, call Vooch, man. The man's averaging 21-11, shooting 64%. I know there's not a lot of games, but that's absurd to look at. That's not supposed to happen. 60% on catch and shoot shots overall, 54.5% on catch and shoot threes. We're just getting evolved Vucevic leading the Bulls. Is this just the guy?
Well, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I figured you would say. So I also am ready to say the streets continue to say Ayo Dosunmu, who is shooting 55% from 3. And he has made 3 or more in back-to-back games. And, buddy, it's been fun watching him zoom around the court and make big shots for the Bulls. So, salute to them.
Okay. Shout out to the Bulls. Pesky defensively. As one of our dear Dunkers will point out, the teams have missed an ungodly amount of threes against the Chicago Bulls. That's probably going to normalize. But they've been active. Wow, you can't higher pickup.
Can't even enjoy the Bulls right now. That's crazy.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. They're continuing to play fast. Like you mentioned Ayo. You mentioned Vooch. Steve, there have been some Patrick Williams sightings. I'm intrigued. I'm trying not to be intrigued because I know how this ends, but I'm intrigued. We got some Patrick Williams stuff that's been neat. Josh Giddey in the half court. Listen, the Bulls are doing some things. They're playing hard. They're playing fast. Shout out to their start. I think they deserve some love. AJ Mitchell for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the undefeated Oklahoma City Thunder that are slated to win a whole lot of games, almost independent of who's actually going to be available for them. But AJ Mitchell, I'm going to drive and drive and drive. I'm open. I'm going to shoot. Only shooting 31% from 3 so far, but the looks have been good.
Well, I'm going to
54% on 2s.
I'm going to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot.
Hey, listen, 18-5-4 off the bench is pretty good stuff. But I do think in general, like his confidence and the comfort that he's playing with and some of the pressure that he can take off of Shea to at least initiate some stuff and generate some paint touches, I think has been important. Like you can say the same thing for Casey Wallace, who also seems even more refined as a driver. Offense for this Thunder group. But a lot of Thunder shout-outs to be had in the segment if I want to. But wanted to highlight AJ Mitchell, who showed some fun stuff last year. I think many people are still confused by the random first half minutes in the finals in game 1. But that's okay. I think AJ Mitchell is firmly good. The Thunder have done it again. I've enjoyed his start to the season. Who else you got, Steve?
AJ Mitchell's been very good. So I want to give him a quick salute. Do want to do a quick free throw. So they got SGA and FGA.
And FTA, if you ask the haters.
There we go.
There you go.
A quick salute to Jeremy Grant, who is just making a very strong case for 6th man of the year. Hey, Jeremy, man, you want to come off the bench? I guess. shoots, makes, does not stop shooting, does not stop making. A heck of a start for him. So I just want to give him a salute. Not an easy transition, but hey, yeah, I'll just go back to being that guy that you got here for a reason. That's me. Off the bench now. Cool.
And shout out to old Jeremy Grant. Shooting the leather off the ball, like the 2s versus 3s split for him has been almost even, honestly. So that part's been interesting. Like the long 2s have been substituted for actual 3-pointers, which seems to be helpful. And he's knocking down those 3s this year compared to last year where it's a little bit lower. So I've enjoyed the Jeremy Grant experience. He's bringing it on defense is kind of my exciting thing, Steve. He has been part of this Portland vortex to where, oh, are you thinking about inbounding the ball? I'm in your jersey.
Oh, no.
Oh, are you about to cross half court? I am in your jersey. And the fact that Jeremy Grant is giving consistent defensive effort is intriguing to me. I think that's good stuff. So shout out to Jeremy Grant. Last one for me. Go ahead.
I need this pressures thing to go away so the Blazers can be enjoyed properly because you're going to keep smashing this thing all year. And it's going to give me a headache.
They're doing a bunch of...
right here, right side temple, top of head, going back.
Well, I'm not trying to give you the cartoon red flashing vein popping. They're obviously doing different things. Like they're going smaller. They're sprinkling in some weird zone on top of this. Like the Blazers were just a really good defense post All-Star break last year. Like this is an extension of that. Mm-hmm. Drew Holiday's been fun. A lot of different things. But like, yeah, they do start possessions with legitimate juice. Like you just cannot get into your offense against them. At least that's been the case so far. So shout out to the Blazers. Shout out to Jeremy Grant. I'm going to close it out with Nekias Queta, Steve. He's gotten the first crack at the center spot for the Boston Celtics as they are haven't won. They were 0-3 entering yesterday's slate, but finally got a win. But it hasn't felt like they were like winless. I feel like they've played pretty well. Like they could have easily beaten Philly in their opener, for an example. But Nekias Queta, I always love his screens. I've written about Nekias Queta screens before. I feel like he's such a good screener, violent diver. He seems more comfortable if it's like a pseudo short roll opportunity, like he's making passes. Also, I can put the ball on the floor twice before getting into some kind of gather and then trying to dunk on your head and get into the line. Like that part's been fun. The defense, there have been some fun flashes from Mr. Queta, especially when he's at the level. There have been other possessions. And as I was having a conversation with some pals of mine, I would like for the Boston Celtics to end possessions at a higher rate than they are right now, but that is just part of the roster right now. So they're going to have to bake that in. But I wanted to shout out Nekias Queta. Quick center shout for the Boston Celtics. That is going to do it for me, Steve. Those are some players. I have 4 players. We're deep in the pot.
Makes sense. Good. So, feeling good. Feeling great, man. Celtics always looking to make a mark. So got any free throws?
Just a couple for you, Steve, especially since we're late in this. I may have a longer list for you on the next episode.
I'm sure.
I'm as you know, I am a person of lists, especially when we get into award stuff. I do have a bunch, but I know you generally have better ones than me, but we're also late in this. So quickly, who has been better so far this year, Steve? Wemby or Giannis? Your players of the week. Who'd you give the number 1 nod to between those two?
Yes.
But that's not how that works. What do you mean, yes?
Oh. I'm going to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. Okay. Yeah, I said it. Man's almost shooting 70%. Wemby's been insane, but Giannis has been nuts, man.
No, that's fair. That is fair.
He's shooting 66% from 3. Low volume. Very low volume.
The low volume disclaimer. I love it. Is this officially Tyrese Maxey's team now?
No. Close.
Okay.
Like he okay. You know, when you I paid more of these bills than I did before. Like you got a second home, so I live here now by myself. We're not roommates no more, but my name's not on the. You know what I mean? Kind of that type of scenario.
Okay. All right, Steve. Envision you were open in the corner for a 3. More likely to receive a pass between these 3 players for your open corner 3.
Okay.
Cam Whitmore, Cam Thomas, Matas Buzelis.
No, wait, more likely to swing to the corner when they catch it?
Swing it to you, yes. More likely to receive a pass from one of these players. Who will actually make the swing to the corner?
This is bait. I'm going Cam Thomas because he knows he's going to shoot it the next time. I got plenty of room to spare. I'll get him up. Yeah, I'm going Cam Thomas.
Okay. Okay,
You?
fair enough.
You-
Fair
you?
enough. Cam was number one for me. I did have to think longer than I would like between Matas and Cam Whitmore, which I tweeted out the stat with Cam Whitmore through the first 3 games of the year: 39 total passes to 31 field goal attempts. That's it's an interesting split statistically, and when you actually as someone that has watched these Wizards games, the drive attempts from Cam Whitmore and who's open when he attempts to make these drive attempts is like, hey, brother, you do realize that this is your opportunity to like establish some stability for yourself because you are very clearly talented. There's already been Wizards accounts like panning to the sidelines when Brian Keefe not happy with, like, you don't want this stuff within the first week of the year. Like, I just want recognize the opportunity ahead of you. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Press that X button, buddy. That's all I want you to do. You can do it. I promise. How long until Jalen Johnson is Atlanta's best player?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh man. And like this is when I had this as an early typed out free throw. And so like Trae Young just having all the assists last night puts a little damper into this one. But hey man, Jalen Johnson's been a lot of fun this year. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
No, it's still Trae Young's team. Was that your final free throw?
Yeah, I'll cap it there.
Stronger all-star case: Austin Reeves or Aaron Gordon?
Darn. I guess the Nuggets are winning. We'll go Aaron Gordon.
Oh my.
You got the defense too.
Is Stephen Curry an MVP candidate based on his start?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Better this year to start: Lauri Markkanen or Devin Booker?
Oh, I'm gonna go Lauri, but Devin's hooping lows the keys. Like I feel like the assist numbers for him are lower than what they should be based on the passes that he's making and the lack of conversion on some of those passes. But Devin's hooping. I'll go Lauri, but salute.
Better to start this year: Franz Wagner or Jimmy Butler?
Oh, ew. I'll go. Ooh, that's a good one. Dagnabbit. We'll go Jimmy.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Me either.
So the rookie of the year race is wide open, huh?
Yeah, Cooper, I would like for you to. He's had some moments, but Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe hooping. Hey, listen, Conker Nipple's been fun. I just want to sprinkle in some more Charlotte love. The heck of a third quarter against the Washington Wizards, by the way, from Conker Nipple. A little bit of everything. But anyway,
PJ Washington is
probably more opening.
PJ Washington is the what best player for the Dallas Mavericks?
Oh. He's in the top 3. Probably 2.
Last one.
Probably 2. Okay.
Stronger MVP case: Kevin Durant or Stephen Curry?
Oh, that is dastardly. We're gonna go Stephen Curry.
You're gonna get a tweet about that.
Go
All right, get us out of here. Bring it in.
Gosh darn it. Thank you for listening to or watching this episode of The Dunker Spot. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Apple, Spotify, RIP Google, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. Subscribe to the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel and also check us out. You type in The Dunker Spot, you can get all of our awesome content in one spot. You can follow me on socials at Nekias NBA, Steve on socials at Steve Jones 20. We will be back on Friday with more basketball talk. We're going to have some fun. Enjoy the rest of your day.